All right, welcome back for this week's Blizzard podcast, brought to you by our good friends at H&R Block. This week's player profile will have the right-handed defenseman, number 8, Alex Murray. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Oh, not so bad. It's 28 degrees outside. It actually feels pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better than negative 15.
Yeah.
So, is this your first podcast then?
Yeah, it is my first podcast.
So you joined the team a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where were you playing before that?
I came over from Janesville, but I started the season in Amarillo, so
Okay.
kind of been all over the place, but it's been a good experience.
Yeah. So how have you kind of settled in here in Brookings? You like it?
Yeah, I like it so far. I've connected with a lot of the guys on the team already, so it's been pretty good, yeah.
Nice. So you're from Glenville, Illinois.
Glenville, Illinois, yeah.
So how big of it? Like 45,000, 50,000?
Yeah, around 50,000.
50,000. What's it like being in a small community like this?
It's a little bit different. There's a lot of adjusting you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from like Chicago area, being in a smaller town, I guess you kind of know everybody a little bit more. Everything's a little more tight knit.
Well, it's kind of a nice thing. You kind of walk into gas stations and stuff, and people ask you how the games went.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. So what was it like growing up and playing hockey in Glenview?
Playing around the Chicago area, it was pretty fun, pretty competitive. I met a lot of good people there. I moved there when I was in the 5th grade, so I was in Cincinnati before, so I kind of just jumped right into it. I played a little bit in Milwaukee and then came back to Chicago, and it's been pretty good since, yeah.
So what age did you kind of start playing hockey?
I think I got on skates when I was around 3 years old, but I started playing probably when I was 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Did you play a whole lot of other sports growing up, or was it always kind of just hockey?
I played baseball growing up, actually, yeah. My dad got me into it. He played baseball in college and was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, he got me into it, and I played all the way through high school.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the common themes that I've kind of noticed with the players. A lot of them did play baseball growing up. I mean, yeah, that hand-eye coordination kind of carries over to more than one sport.
For sure.
So I'm assuming you grew up in sort of a athletic, sports-orientated family.
Yeah.
What do you have for siblings?
I have 2 sisters. One of them is 17. She's committed to Denver for soccer. And then the other one is 13, and she also plays soccer. She's taller than the older one, but we'll see. They're pretty competitive, so it's always been competitive.
So I guess what age did you kind of realize that you're pretty good at hockey? You started focusing more on that than baseball.
I think when I was 15, I started focusing on hockey a lot more. I made the decision to move out east and play for Slugs Academy in Connecticut. That was probably the biggest decision that I made, and that's when I took it a little more serious.
So you said you started skating when you were about 3. You're, I guess, some would say on the smaller side for a defenseman. Were you always a defenseman growing up, or?
Growing up, when I first started, I was a center. So,
really?
And then once I got into, I think, around 12 years old, my coach moved me to defense, and because we needed a puck-moving defenseman back there. So I just kind of adjusted to that, and I think I've been more successful playing defense, for sure.
So, from Illinois, would you call yourself a Blackhawks fan, or?
For sure, yeah. I'm a huge Blackhawks fan.
Huge Blackhawks fan. Yeah, I'm guessing there's probably some Minnesota Wild fans that are listening to these podcasts that might not like that very much.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for the Wild fans, that's for sure.
I know.
So you said you played in a couple different places. Could you kind of walk me through like your playing career, when you really started, into organized sports, kind of the steps that brought you here to Brookings?
Yeah. I started playing AAA hockey when I was 13. So it was a little bit later than most kids. I
Mhm.
think a lot of kids really just jump into it when they're 10, 11. But I was a little bit later. I just was used to playing with my friends and stuff, so I never really thought anything of AAA. And then I got scouted by a coach in Milwaukee. I went up and played for them for 2 years, and then I went back to Chicago to play when I was 14. Um, and then after I was done playing in Chicago, I went back to Milwaukee to play my first year of U16s. And then at the Tier 1 showcase in Detroit at the end of the year, a prep school in Connecticut saw me and they wanted me to come out. And it was really a huge decision for me, whether I wanted to stay back home, finish high school, just be with my friends, or if I wanted to really pursue this. And I initially said no to their offer, but I really thought it over a lot more, and I decided that's what I wanted to do with my life, and I pretty much took it and ran.
That seems like you made a pretty good decision. So you've played for a lot of different teams. I know you came in kind of late in our season, and you wear number 8 for us. Was that kind of one of your preferred numbers, or was it kind of something you kind of got stuck with?
It was something I got stuck with. So like when I first started the season in Amarillo, my number is 20. It's been 20 for the past few years. So I started with that number, and then I got traded to Janesville, and they gave me 14, which was the number of the player that I got traded for because it was the easiest for them. And there was already a 20 on the team. And then when I came here, I just didn't really ask any questions or anything. So
I got handed a number 8 jersey.
And I was fine with it, yeah.
So I guess kind of switching gears a little bit away from hockey, what do you kind of do with your free time here in Brookings and you know, just your free time when you're not here practicing or at the wellness center working out?
I mean, I kind of just hang out with the guys. We usually play like some games eventually. Like sometimes we go to the wellness center. We play like pickleball. I'm sure you've heard of the stories from pickleball, but it gets pretty competitive there. And then we play badminton a couple of times, but usually just work out and then hang out. Yeah.
Stay active, I guess. Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier about the difference between growing up, you know, in more of a metropolitan area in Illinois to move into South Dakota. Have you had a chance to kind of check out some of the sites here in Brookings? I mean, it's not like there's all that much to do, but I mean, there's still that small town community where there's still a few attractions around town.
I've driven around a little bit. I haven't checked out everything, but I think I know my way around town pretty well now. Like I don't have to use my GPS. So
you feel comfortable enough that you don't have to map it anymore. Yeah. So obviously, when you went to Connecticut, you decided, you know, I'm going to run with this hockey thing and take that as far as you can. Do you have any other, I guess, career and education goals that you really hope for yourself?
I think my biggest goal is to play college hockey. Obviously, like being at a Division I school would be a dream for me. But I need to really think things over and kind of figure out what the best fit is for me before I make a decision like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a couple of other guys been on the show. We've kind of talked about nicknames that they've kind of got.
Yeah.
I noticed that's kind of a pretty common thing when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Nicknames stick pretty well. Have you got one yet?
Usually it's just like Mur or Murs or something like that. It's just something easy.
Something easy. Yeah. Usually it's centered around your last name.
I mean, some guys say like Murdog or something, but yeah, usually Mur. That one works pretty well. Yeah.
So like game day routines. Walk me through that. Do you have any weird superstitions? I know Brady was on a couple weeks ago, I believe it was, and you know, he can't let his blade touch the ground until he gets out into the ice. You know, as an athlete, you know, a lot of them have just like little quirks and stuff like that people don't even really notice.
Yeah.
Anything like that with you?
I'll take you through like my game day routine. Usually I'll take a pregame nap, starting at like 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then I get up. I make pasta before the game. I eat, and then I get dressed. Usually shower before I get dressed, and then I head over to the rink. I'll tape my stick. I'll wax it 5 times on this side, just going straight down like that. And then I'll go up 5 times, and then I'll flip it and do the same thing on the other side. And then I don't let the blade touch the ground as well. And then I go and stretch. I stretch my legs for 4 minutes, and then I stretch my arms for 3 minutes. So it's and then I do like a dynamic warm up, and then I do the team warm up. But I don't usually play like the sewer, like the soccer game. Usually I just want to stay focused. Yeah. So pretty picky.
Yeah, that's kind of specific things that. But yeah, like I said, as an athlete, a lot of times you develop those little things, and you don't mess with a streak, definitely. So once it kind of sticks, you go with it. Is there any specific music that you listen to for game days to kind of focus you up?
I have a playlist of like a bunch of stuff. I'm a big fan of Lil Skies. He's a rapper. Travis Scott. I just have it all in line. And then there's some songs that I listen to. Like there's one song I played like really well. I played "Reel It In." It's by Nima. So I just stick with that one. I run that one first, and then I go through all my playlists. So yeah.
So is there anything specific, I guess, being in Brookings here and coming from Glenview that you kind of had back home that you don't really get here in town?
I'm trying to think. Probably restaurants. There's more there's an authentic restaurant for Mexican food that's pretty close to my house, and like they have a Taco Tuesday where it's $1 tacos, and I'd run in there and grab 5 or 6 at a time. That was something I kind of miss.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think food's been a pretty common answer for that.
Yeah.
We have guys coming from all over. You don't have the same restaurants here in the Midwest.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're coming up to the part of the show where I give you an opportunity to tell our fans where they can follow you on social media. That way they can kind of get to know you a little bit better if you want to do that.
Yeah, you can follow me on social media. My Instagram is amers20, and my Twitter is the same thing. And then I have a Facebook, but it's usually just so my parents can tag me in posts. So usually don't friend me on Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram works for me.
Alrighty. As always, this podcast is brought to our friends at H&R Block. Tax season is right around the corner, so if you don't want to get surprised, stop in and talk to our friends at H&R Block. If you're from Brookings or the surrounding areas, you can always visit with Wayne Nakestead. Let him know you heard it here on the Brookings Blizzard podcast for a 25% discount on your first tax preparation. H&R Block is located here in town at the University Mall. And for any more information, you can always give them a call at 605-692-5715. All right. Thanks, Alex.
Awesome. Thank you.